ॐ हिरण्मयेन पात्रेण सत्यश्चापिहितं मुखं तत्त्वं पूषणपावृणु सत्यधर्माय दृष्टये. I welcome everybody to the Swadhyaya Jnana Yogyam program by Academy of Yoga and Oriental Studies, Bhubaneswar. Yoga is the science of conquering the mind. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. This is a lecture series on Sankhya by Dr. Indulata Das, Director, Academy of Yoga and Oriental Studies, Bhubaneswar. I am Indulata Das. This is lecture number 5 in the series. The topic is the theory of creation. Now, the theory of creation is a very important concept of Sankhya. As we know that there are two realities of Sankhya. One is the Prakriti and other one is the Purusha. Prakriti is insentient or Jada. Purusha is consciousness or Chaitanya. Both are associated together due to beginningless avidya. Both Purusha and Prakriti are associated without any beginning. Their association has no beginning, and that is due to anadi avidya. The result of their association is that they superimpose each other's properties. Tasmat sanjogad acetanam chetana patipalinga guna katrutvepi tatha katteva bhavati udasana. Sankhya Karika says that the insentient Prakriti behaves like a conscious tattva, and the Purusha, which does not do any action, behaves as if it is doing everything. Although the actions are done by the Prakriti, the Purusha behaves as if it is doing all the actions done by Prakriti. Because Purusha cannot do anything. Where there is Rajoguna, there is action. There is action only where there is Rajoguna. And Prakriti has Rajoguna and Purusha does not have Rajoguna. Therefore, Purusha can never do anything. But because of the association, wrongly, because of the ignorance, Purusha thinks that it is doing all the actions, although the actions are being done by Prakriti. Now, what is the consequence of this? Purusha consumes the results of the actions because it thinks that it is doing all the actions. Therefore, it consumes the results of the actions. Then, as a result, he suffers from various sorrows. There are three kinds of sorrows: Adhi Bhautika sorrow, Adhi Daivika sorrow, and Adhi Bhautika, Adhi Daivika, and Adhyatmika sorrows. Then gradually Purusha is disgusted because of the suffering, continuous suffering. Then it tries to get rid of the sorrows. By constant effort, it tries to get the knowledge, the true knowledge. It tries to recognize its own self, and by constant effort, it attains the true knowledge, and Purusha is liberated. The association, in a way, helps the Purusha to be liberated also. So, this is the consequence of their association. Purusha suffers, and ultimately, if it tries, then it is liberated. Now, creation takes place when they are united. When Purusha and Prakriti are united, as a result of their union, the creation takes place. Sankhya Karika said, Purusasya darshanartham kaivalyartham tatha pradhanasya pangu andhavat ubhayorapi sanyogas tattatah sarga. This is like the union of a blind and a lame person. It is meant to benefit each other. Prakriti is exposed and Purusha is liberated. This is said by Sankhya Karika. Prakriti exposes itself through creation. Purusha can realize the true nature of Prakriti. And the goal of Prakriti is exposure of itself. The goal of Purusha is liberation. So the goal of Prakriti is also attained and the goal of Purusha is also attained. And in this way, they benefit each other. So this is a mutual benefit. Now the sequence of creation. How the creation takes place. What is the sequence of creation? Sankhya Karika says, Prakrutir Mahan Stato Hankara Stato Ganascha Sodasaka Tasmadapi Sodasaka Panchabhyaha Panchabhutani. From Prakriti, Mahan is generated. Mahan is also known as Buddhi, and from Buddhi or Mahan, Ahankara is generated. And from Ahankara, there are two groups. The total number is 16, and in one group there are 18 tattvas, and in the other group there are 5 tattvas. The first group, in which there are 11 tattvas, there is the manas, the 5 Ganondriyas, and the 5 Karmendriyas. The second group, which has 5 tattvas in it, it has the 5 tanmatras. The Sabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha tanmatras. They are in this second group. And from the 5 tanmatras, 5 Mahabhutas are generated. So this is the table of the sequence of creation. First is Prakriti, then from Prakriti Mahan or Buddhi, it is also known as Mahattattva, and from Mahattattva there is Ahankara, and from Ahankara there are two groups. One is a group of 11 tattvas, and the second one is a group of 5 tattvas. The first is the 11 group. In the 11 group there is Mana, the 5 Ganondriyas, and 5 Karmendriyas. In the second group there are the 5 tanmatras only, and the names of the tanmatras are Sabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, and Gandha tanmatras. And from these 5 tanmatras, the 5 Mahabhutas are created. The names of the Mahabhutas are earth, water, fire, air, and ether or sky. Now let us discuss the creation one by one, the tattvas one by one. First is Buddhi. Buddhi is also known as Mahan or Mahattattva, as I have already said. It is the first modification of Prakriti. The Matsya Purana says, Sabikarat pradhanat tu Mahattattva majayata Mahaniti yatah khyati lokanang jayate sada. When the Prakriti starts modifying itself, first Mahattattva is created. It is famous as Mahan also. Then there are various names of Mahan. There is a shloka which is quoted in Patanjali Yoga Pradipa. It says that there are various names of Mahan. The names are Hiranyagarbha, Buddhi, Mahan, Virinchi, and Aja. The shloka goes like this: Hiranyagarbho Bhagavan Esa Buddhiriti Smutaha Mahaniti Cha Yogesu Virinchiti Tathatyajaha. These are the various names by which Mahan or Buddhi is known. Now we come to the nature of Buddhi. Adhyavasaya or decisiveness is the nature of Buddhi. Vachaspati Mishra explains it as Tatra Joyam Kartavyamiti Vinishchayaha so Adhyavasayaha Buddhehe Asadharana Vyaparaha Tad Abheda Buddhihi. This is Sankhya Tattva Kaumudi, the great commentary on Sankhya Karika. So the meaning is like this: the decision that this is the duty is Adhyavasaya. This is to be done. This decision is Adhyavasaya. This is the unique action of Buddhi. This is done only by Buddhi. Therefore, it is unique to Buddhi only. Buddhi is identified with this. Therefore, Buddhi is called Adhyavasaya Buddhi, because Buddhi does the Adhyavasaya or decision. Therefore, Adhyavasaya is identified with Buddhi. In other words, Buddhi does the decisions. Then there are various aspects of Buddhi. There are 3 aspects of Buddhi: the Sattvika aspect, the Rajasika aspect, and the Tamasika aspect. Sattvika Rajasaschaiva Tamasascha Tridha Mahan. This is Vishnu Purana and also Markandeya Purana. So there are 3 aspects of Buddhi: Sattvika, Rajasika, and Tamasika. Now there are 8 forms of Buddhi. There are 4 forms. There are 4 Sattvika forms which are produced from the Sattvika aspect. Then there are 4 Tamasika forms which are produced from this Tamasika aspect. The Rajasika aspect does not produce anything. It helps in generating these 2 forms. So without the help of Rajoguna, no generation, no creation is ever possible. So Rajasika aspect helps in the generation of the 2 forms, the 2 types of forms. Now the Sattvika forms. What are the Sattvika forms? The 4 Sattvika forms are Dharma, Jnana, Vairagya, and Aishwarya. Dharma is righteousness, Jnana is knowledge, Vairagya is judgment, Aishwarya is extraordinary capabilities. These are the 4 Sattvika forms of Buddhi. Then we come to the Tamasika forms. There are 4 Tamasika forms of Buddhi also. These are Adharma, Jnana, Avairagya, and Anaishwarya. Adharma is non-righteousness, Ajnana is ignorance, Avairagya is non-detachment, Anaishwarya is incapabilities. In Sankhya Sutra, we find this sutra, Tat Karjam Dharmadi. Again, Mahat Uparagat Viparitam. So like this, these are the sutras. Now we come to the second modification, that is called ahankara. First it is buddhi, and from buddhi ahankara is produced. This is the second product, or this is the second modification in sequence. So it is created from buddhi or maha. Now what is the nature of ahankara? What is unique in ahankara? Ahankara is ego or self-assertion. Abhimano ahankara, abhimana ahankara. I, me, myself. These are the expressions related to ahankara. This is I am so and so. This is my boy. This is my son. This is my daughter. This is my house. And this is not my house. All these expressions are related to ahankara. Ahankara establishes a relation between between itself and the rest. So it is ahankara. By ahankara, we identify ourselves with something, and we do not identify something with us. So this is ahankara. So there are three aspects of ahankara: the sattvika aspect, the rajasic aspect, and the tamasic aspect. Name of sattvika aspect is called vaikruta. Then tajas aspect is then rajasic aspect is called tajasa, and tamasic aspect is called bhutadi. These are the vaikruta, tajasa, and bhutadi. These are the three aspects. Then what are the creations from ahankara? Ahankara creates two groups of tattvas, and the total number is 16. In total, ahankara creates 16 tattvas, but they are divided in two groups. Creation from sattvika ahankara, sattvika ekadasaka pravartate, vaikruta ahankara. Vaikruta ahankara is known as the sattvika ahankara. Sattvika ahankara creates 16, 11 tattvas. So the total tattvas are 11. These are the manas, the 5 Ganondriyas, and the 5 Karmendriyas. These are sattvika in nature because they are the products of sattvika ahankara, therefore they are sattvika in nature. Now creation from tamasika ahankara, bhutades tanmatraha sa tamasaha. From tamasic aspect, 5 tanmatras are created. These are Sabda tanmatra, Sparsha tanmatra, Rupa tanmatra, Rasa tanmatra, and Gandha tanmatra. Tanmatra means the subtle causes of Mahabhutas. Then the first group, let us discuss about the individual tattvas, which are in the two groups. The first group, the Indriyas and the Manas. 5 Ganondriyas and their works. In the first group, there are the Ganondriyas, the Karmendriyas, and the Mana. So let us discuss about the Ganondriyas first. Ganondriyas are 5. Buddhindriyani chakshusrotra ghrana rasana tvagakhyani. Eye, ear, tongue, nose, and skin. These are the 5 Ganondriyas. Then we come to the Karmendriyas. There are 5 Karmendriyas also. Vakpani pada payu pasthani Karmendriyani ahutu. And food, speech, excretory organ, sex organ. These are the 5 Karmendriyas. Then we come to Manas. Mana is ubhatmakam atra manah. Sankalpakam indriyam cha sadharmat. It is mana is an indriya. It is both a Karmendriya and a Gyanendriya because of its similarity with both. Now, what is the nature of mana? Mana recognizes. Recognition is the work of mana. Vachaspati Mishra clarifies it. He writes, Idam evam naivam iti samyak kalpayati iti sankalpakam indriyam manaha. This is Sankhya Tattva Kaumudi, the great commentary written by Vachaspati Mishra. So this is mana recognizes this is this and not that. This is this and this is not that. For example, this is a man and this is not a woman. This is recognized by the mana. This recognition is done by mana. The indriyas bring the impressions from the objects only, and the mana recognizes it. The indriya cannot recognize the object on its own. So it is the mana which recognizes. For example, if the eye sees a snake, it brings the impression to the mana, and the mana only recognizes that yes, it is a snake. Now we come to the second group. In the second group, there are tanmatras. They are created from the tamasic aspect of ahankara. Tamasic aspect is called bhutadi. So these are five in number: Shabda Tanmatra, Sparsha Tanmatra, Rupa Tanmatra, Rasa Tanmatra, and Gandha Tanmatra. The Tanmatras are subtle in nature. They are the subtle causes of the five Mahabhutas. Then we come to the last portion, to the bottom of the sequence. Last group is the group of Mahabhutas. They are five in number. They are gross in nature. They are produced from Tanmatras. And ether is produced from Shabda Tanmatra, air is produced from Sparsha Tanmatra, fire is produced from Rupa Tanmatra, water is produced from Rasa Tanmatra, earth is produced from Gandha Tanmatra. Now, what is the total number of creation? The total number of created tattvas by the Prakriti, excluding Prakriti, it is 23. Buddhi 1, Ankara 1, Mana 1, Indriyas are 10, 5 plus 5, then Tanmatras are 5, then Mahabhutas are 5. So the created tattvas are 23, and these are the creations of Prakriti. Now we come to some additional classifications done and groupifications done within the 23 tattvas. Within the 23 tattvas also, according to their work and according to their nature, there are also other classifications. Now, first classification is Karana. Karana is a common name for 13 tattvas. It is divided into two categories, the Antakarana and the Baihakarana. Now, what are the Antakaranas? Antakaranas are three in number: Buddhi, Ahankara, and Manas. These are the Antakaranas. It is the collective name for Buddhi, Ahankara, and Manas. Then we come to the Baihakaranas. Baihakaranas are 10 in number: Dasada Baiham, Ganondriyas, 5 Ganondriyas and 5 Karmendriyas are the Baihakaranas. Baihakarana is a collective name of Indriyas. Then we come to a table. Let us see it in a table. The division of Karanas. This is Karana and it is divided into Antakarana and Baihakarana. In Antakarana we find Buddhi, Ahankara and Manas. In Baihakarana we find 5 Ganondriyas and 5 Karmendriyas. Then what is the period of functioning of Baihakaranas and Antakaranas? There is a difference between Baihakarana and the Antakarana. The Baihakaranas, that means the Indriyas, can function only in the present period. Samprata kalam Baiham, Sankhya Karika says. But on the other hand, Antakaranas can function in the past, present, and also future. Trikalam Abhyantaram Karana. The mind, the mana, the ahankara, and the buddhi, they can move to the past, they can remain in the present, and they can also move to the future. So they function in the three periods of time. Now their mutual relation of the Baihyakarana and Antakaranas. The Baihakaranas carry the objects or the impressions of the objects to the Antakarana. They give the knowledge of the objects. Buddhi along with manas and ahankara, that means the antakaranas, receive the impressions of the objects, knowledge of the objects. Therefore, antakaranas is like a storehouse where all the objects are gathered. Dwari means that which is a dwara is dwari, and a house has dwaras. If it is compared to a house, then the Baihakaranas are like the dwaras or doors. Baihakaranas are like doors through which the objects enter into the Antahkaranas. Sankhya Karika says, Santahkarana buddhi sarvam vishayam apagahate jasmat tasmat trividham karanam dwarani sesani. The Trividha Karana, the Antahkaranas, are like the dwari or the house, and the Baihakaranas are like the doors of the house. Now, result of collective function of the Antakarana. All the Karanas, whether it is Antakarana or Baihyakarana, they have their specific individual functions. But the Antakaranas, they have a collective function also. Only the Antakaranas, they have a collective function also. And what is that collective function? Samanya karana vrittihi pranadyaha vayavaha pancha. The collective function of the antahkaranas are the 5 airs. The 5 airs are the collective functions of the antahkaranas. These are generated from the antahkaranas when they function collectively. This is according to Sankhya, not according to any other philosophy. So the five airs are prana, apana, vyana, udana, and samana. These are the products of the collective function of the antahkaranas. Now there is another classification, Vishesha and Avishesha. There is a sutra in Yoga Sutra. There is a sutra, Vishesha Vishesha Langamatra Lingani Gunaparvani. That means Prakriti is divided. Prakriti can be divided into divisions of Prakriti, Vishesha, Avishesha, Lingamatra, and Alinga. Prakriti can be divided. Prakriti and its creations can be divided into Vishesha, Avishesha, Lingamatra, and Alinga. Alinga is Prakriti itself. Lingamatra is Buddhi. We have discussed both these. Now we will discuss about Vishesha and Avishesha. What is Vishesha and what is Avishesha? Division of Vishesha and Avishesha. Visheshas are the names. The tattvas from which no further creation takes place are called Visheshas. Visheshas are those tattvas from which no sarira, Sukma sarira or subtle body. Sukma sarira, it is also, we may say that it is also a groupification. It is also a group of tattvas are known as Sukma sarira. Sukma sarira consists of all the tattvas right from Mahat up to Tanmatras. The total tattvas of Sukma sarira are Mahan or Buddhi, Ahankara, Mana, and the 10 Indriyas, and the 5 Tanmatras. Total number is 18 tattvas. Mahatadi Sukma Paryantam, Sankhya says. Mahatadi Sukma Paryantam. This is these are known as Sukma Sarira. Sukma Sarira is not destroyed again and again. Purusha remains in the Sukma Sarira till it is liberated. So Purusha from the very beginning, Purusha is in the Sukma Sarira, it lives in the Sukma Sarira, and it lives till it is liberated. Only when it is liberated, the Sukma Sarira withdraws itself from the Purusha. And till then, the Sukma Sarira remains with the Purusha, or the Purusha remains in the Sukma Sarira. Then we come to Sthula Sarira. Sthula Sarira is gross body. It is made out of the 5 Mahabhutas. Gross body is acquired according to one's past actions. Gross body is destroyed again and again. The subtle body along with the Purusha leaves one gross body and enters into another gross body. This is called death. When the gross body is destroyed, it is called death. So the subtle body moves from one gross body to another gross body. Along with the Purusha, it moves. This continues till Purusha attains liberation. So there is only one subtle body and there are many gross bodies. And in fact, we don't have one body, we have 2 bodies. One is Sthula Sarira and the other one is Sukma Sarira. The Sukma Sarira continues up to the liberation, up to the Pralaya, and Sthula Sarira or the gross body that is destroyed again and again. Now withdrawal of the creation. Now how the creation is withdrawn by the Prakriti. It is also known as Pralaya or dissolution. When Purusha attains the knowledge that it is different from Prakriti, it gets Kaivalya or it is liberated. Then Prakriti has nothing to do with the Purusha. Prakriti withdraws itself from the Purusha. Then there is the reverse movement of the dissolution. It moves from bottom to top. This is the sequence of merger. It moves from bottom to top, as I told. At the bottom there are Mahabhutas. They merge into the Tanmatras. They are causes. And the Tanmatras, Indriyas and Mana, they together merge into their own cause, that is Ahankara. They are all created from the Ahankara and they will merge in their own cause. Then ahankara will merge in its own cause, that is buddhi. Then buddhi will merge in its own cause, that is prakriti. So they will, each tattva will merge in its own cause, and that is the reversal sequence. For that, when the buddhi ultimately merges into the prakriti, and the prakriti has distanced itself from the purusha. For that individual purusha, the creation ends. There is no further creation for that individual purusha, and purusha is liberated. Thank you. This is the sequence of creation, the theory of creation according to Sankhya. I must thank you for listening to this lecture. If you have any question, please write it in the comment box. I shall be very happy to answer all your questions. Now, this is the link for our other lectures. If you are interested, you may also listen our other lectures.